Yo guys, how's it going, and welcome back to another video. Now, this is a different type of video. You probably didn't expect it at all, but today is going to be a whole review of who I think is going to win in the JJ versus Logan Paul rematch 2. Or just rematch, really, doesn't really matter, but still, today is going to be very unbiased. I'm going to talk about options, and then at the end I'll talk about my actual kind of opinion, and we're going to be speaking about other people's opinions as well. So all round, it's kind of a good video. I've planned this really well. I'm really looking forward to do it. So really, if you are going to enjoy, then subscribe, like, turn notifications, and we've got more videos coming out soon. And as well, with kind of FIFA 20 coming out, we're going to be doing more videos like that. So I apologise for the change of audience for some people, but you know, that's just the way I want to go. I don't want to stick with Rainbow Six Siege anymore because people are spamming glitches in that kind of area, but I'll make a whole video on that later. So going into the video, we obviously got announced a few weeks ago that Logan Paul is going to be fighting JJ again, or the other way around, or just a rematch is going to be happening on November the 9th. Now this is very key because it doesn't really give them much time, and if any of them weren't training, which I know Logan Paul was training all year round, I wasn't sure about JJ. He didn't really release much about him training, which again could be like a whole tactics thing, could be a whole kind of like not bothered and he just knows he's going to win. Now, there's two things there, obviously, where he thinks he's going to win. One, you've got the confidence, so you're going to go with the confidence. You think you're going to win. You've got the power instead of being nervous. Or two, the problem is, if he goes like that and he hasn't trained, and Logan Paul has trained a lot, which it seems like he has, he could get battered to pieces. But first of all, we're going to talk about JJ and what we think about him, what he's done over this last kind of year or so. Now, we've seen JJ actually bulk up a bit. Now, many reasons people think this. Perhaps people think he's had some time off. He didn't train that much for the last fight, and he thought, you know what, I've got some time before his actual fight happens, so I might not just fight again, or less. He thinks probably I don't have to train as much because he nearly won it last time with barely any training, like he said. So really, that might be the way he might want to go. But on the other hand, it could be the fact is he wants more power. Now that was another reason why he started to bulk and obviously got bigger, because Logan Paul has got obviously a bit of reach from him. He's got, I believe, quite a lot of muscle, which I believe he has more. And to be fair, if you want to get some more hits, and apparently JJ isn't a hard hitter, but he's a very technical hitter. Now obviously he wants that power, so perhaps that whole bulking up is going to make him a bit bigger, easier for him to fight, and it could just be more interesting. Now if JJ is bigger, and to be fair, he fights like he did last time, and Logan Paul doesn't have that fitness, in my opinion, JJ's got it in the bag. Literally, there's no doubt about it. With a bit more power from JJ, if those same thing happen again, where it's kind of a scrappy fight, it's going to be OP, especially with no head guards. We could be expecting a knockout. Another thing is, if you didn't know, KSI is going to be going over to LA or Las Vegas, between the two, to train with the Mayweather. He's got a full team behind him, with Vidal Riley as his head coach. That's a massive key factor because I believe that Vidal Riley's actually got some actual kind of potential to be something big. He's already become a pro boxer, won his first 3 or 2 fights. Again, he looked very promising, and to be fair, having someone young by your side, understanding the whole kind of social media and everything like that, and understanding the fitnesses, what goes on, is very key because he can understand it, he can understand what to do, he can understand what JJ needs, and to be fair, that could be something good. Now, because he's going to be training the Mayweathers, obviously Logan Paul saw this and said, like, he's got the B-Tech Mayweather. Not really, because they were all very, very solid fighters. I'd be more than happy to train with the Mayweathers, purely because they were that good. But as we know, Logan Paul's got Shannon Briggs, so that's something else, but we'll talk about him in a minute. So really, JJ's got a very, very strong team behind him, and I can't see why he shouldn't actually win, because with that team being so powerful and, to be fair, understanding what's going to happen, JJ's got all rights. If he can keep his fitness up, which he did have last time, his fitness is key. That's what made him win the Joe Weller fight. That's what nearly made him win the Logan Paul fight. And to be fair, that's just a massive key thing. He keeps his fitness up better than Logan Paul's, and if you can get that more power with it, again, he's going to be very deadly in the ring. But the other thing is, well, as people said, well, JJ's going to be going over to like America where his friends aren't going to be for a few weeks. Now, you think if you've got no friends, that's going to be something that no one's going to motivate you. You've only got your coach, and perhaps you haven't got that kind of relationship with the other coaches, such as the Mayweather, and that's what some people do need. Some people like that kind of friendship thing so they get focused, whereas if you're training with someone you don't really know and it's a bit like awkward, then again, that can bring your morale down, and that's what potentially could have an effect on him. I know if I'm obviously with the people at school, I know when I'm not hanging around the right people, it's just a bit awkward, and you don't know what to do, so that's the thing, JJ can't be himself, so perhaps he might have a feeling on the night where he can't actually be himself, and it kind of maybe takes the performance out of him. You never know, it depends what type of person he is, but to be fair, the way I'm seeing it is that's going to be no actual effect to him. Now, as we do know, he's the remaining champion. They drew last time. Again, at Joe Weller, it was an easy fight. The Logan Paul fight, his only downside was literally Logan Paul's reach. He was getting jabbed left, right, and center. Those first 2 rounds, when I was watching it, I actually did think that Logan Paul was going to win. That was something big, but to be fair, overall, JJ brought it back. He realised what he needs to do, and I believe this time, by watching the Logan Paul videos, which I think is bad on Logan Paul's behalf, but I'll talk about later, showing those videos makes it easier for him to train. He knows what he needs to do. Whereas JJ hasn't released so much training, he's released a few stuff, maybe just on the pads, but that doesn't really give Logan Paul much to work on, so he could try different techniques out, something new that Logan Paul hasn't seen before, which you can use as an advantage to beat him. Now, let's go and talk about Logan Paul. Logan Paul is having his second fight again against KSI, and this is something big. Now, as we know, he's quite a big lad, he's pretty solid, he's got a very, very long reach, and we know he's got a background in wrestling. So he's already got that kind of performing thing, so he knows how to perform under pressure. That shouldn't really come to effect to it, but the only difference is that he didn't have all that controversial stuff back then. That would be my worry, because he's got all the controversial stuff, that could actually make him worry a bit more. Because you gotta think, if he doesn't actually win this fight, then without JJ last time, without calling him out, he would have become irrelevant, and perhaps he might become irrelevant again after this, because that's what really keeping him in the game right now for YouTube. Don't get me wrong, he's irrelevant, it's only gonna be like probably a few 100,000 views, but still, that's very good, and that could be a possibility, really. But for both of them, they could both go irrelevant after this, because after like the whole fight and whatever happens, nothing is really there for them anymore. However, now let's talk about Logan Paul's training. As we can tell that Logan Paul has been getting a lot more cardio, which again was his worry last time, and that was the whole thing with Joe Weller. He had no cardio, and that is why he lost it. But the whole thing is now with Logan Paul, he's got 6 rounds without headgear, 10-ounce gloves, so obviously JJ will be hitting harder, and obviously he can hit harder back, and that is a big thing for each of them. Perhaps they haven't actually trained with head guard. They need to condition their head, because if they haven't conditioned their head, then it's going to be a big shock for them. They're going to get a few smacks in the face that they won't like, and perhaps that might actually turn to see that kind of like red mist and get really angry, which is something you don't want to do in boxing. It's a very, very tactical game. So now when we actually look at Logan Paul's training, he's released quite a few videos, quite a few montages, but this is the problem. He's released a lot of boxing fights. He did a boxing fight, kind of like a whole Russian person that comes like the Rocky thing. Again, that isn't good, because one, if you actually do fight like that, which I don't think he will, it gives JJ a reason how to actually kind of like change his thing, how to adapt to him, and understand how he's going to fight in the boxing, which gives him a huge advantage against Logan Paul. Now you got to think, if that actually does keep happening, then KSI just has to win. There's no doubt about it. You just got to win no matter what. But really, to be fair, when you think about it, Logan Paul hasn't really done that much, whereas like he's had quite a lot to train and stuff like that. Whereas KSI has been on tour. Again, that might be harder for him to train. He might have found ways around it by doing like cardio while he's been touring and stuff like that. It would have been a lot easier for Logan Paul to train, and that's where maybe Logan Paul could win the fight, because he's had a lot more training than him. He's been doing it all year round, whereas we know JJ hasn't really. Also, Logan Paul stayed in shape, which is a big thing. JJ's only started to cut down within like the last month or so, which again, to be fair, is quite worrying at that point, because if he's going for that kind of big look to be able to give him some more kind of like weight against him, so it's harder for him to knock down, fair enough. However, that is something big, because he hasn't trained, he might not have the stamina anymore, he might not have the power, he might be a bit rusty with techniques, but we don't know, because we don't know if he's been training all year round, or has it just been like an on and off thing, or is he doing it last minute. So really, that's Logan Paul. I kind of covered Logan Paul as well in the KSI part, but it's just something to cover. Now, just to recap it all, I believe that they both need to train all year round. It's going to be a very interesting fight. KSI is going to maybe have problems with being away for a few weeks before the fight, especially with time zones and jet lag, so perhaps that's why he's going away for a few weeks, so he doesn't have the jet lag and everything like that, because that can tire you out a lot. Also, with a new team that he hasn't really trained with all year round is another big thing. He's training with a whole new actual coach, so that could be a kind of problem there. But there's one last thing I do want to cover for Logan Paul, is he is very, very injury prone. As we know, he pulled his hamstring quite recently, a few weeks ago, in the Challenger Games. Now, this just isn't good. Pulling his hamstring so close to the fight means that he could be a bit rusty in his kind of leg work in the boxing fight. He may not be quick, and to be fair, he might even pull his hamstring again during the fight. He tried his best to kind of get his hamstring back in that shape for the actual Challenger Games, but that didn't go too well. It made it worse, and that could be the problem this time. He might overtrain, make his hamstring worse, and cause him the actual fight. However, we haven't seen JJ be very injury prone. I believe he's maybe had like 1 or 2 wrist injuries, but they just take like maybe a few days to get rid of, because he might have just been sprained, or like he may have just hit a punch funny, something like that. But still, it's a very, very big opportunity for JJ coming in and using that kind of leg work for his advantage where he's so injury prone. But really, that's it to recap. I don't want to add any more to it, but now what I want to do is talk about the kind of celebrities who they believe is going to win. Now, as we know, they've asked a numerous amount of celebrities, but are more focused on the actual boxers, because I suppose that's the more professional side to it, and to be fair, that's what they're worried about, is if they're going to take the mick out of a kind of boxing, or they're going to be taking it seriously. Now, as we know, they are going to be taking it seriously. However, they've asked Tyson Fury, which is arguably probably the best boxer in the actual world right now, obviously between Deontay Wilder, Andrew Ruiz, and Anthony Joshua. So really, it's a mix. However, Tyson Fury has been watching the fight, and Tyson Fury does believe that Logan Paul is going to win. Now, to be fair, that is a massive ego boost on Logan Paul because, again, he's one of the biggest boxers in the world, and to have someone like that to say that you will win, so he's got that confidence, he understands what he has, understands what the opponent doesn't have, so it could be very different. That's Tyson Fury. He believes he's going to win because his reach, he just seems more better, he seems more athletic, and I can understand that from his side. However, when we go to Deontay Wilder, he didn't even know this was happening. He was so confused by it, which again is a bit of a weird subject to talk about, but still, he was asking questions, and he's gone for the remaining champion because you normally do. Whoever is the champion, you normally stick to. But this, however, was from Vidal Riley's kind of perspective. I've got nothing against him. I prefer KSI and Vidal Riley. However, him kind of asking the questions, maybe a kind of thing that he's only doing it because he trained him and stuff like that. He doesn't really offend it to his face. But again, I don't really see that happening from Deontay Wilder. So like Deontay Wilder said, he said it was a draw last time. He won it. He's the remaining champion. So Deontay Wilder's gone with him. That's fair enough. Now, the thing is, they've asked a few other boxes, it's been mixed, they kind of keep back and forward, so one's Logan Paul, the other one's KSI, it's mixed, and to be fair, everyone's very mixed as well. No one really expected a draw last time, everyone thought like Logan Paul was going to win the first 2 rounds, and then afterwards, thought JJ was going to win. It's fair enough, I understand, but it's all just very, very mixed, and to be fair, it's just going to be an odd fight, and no one can expect what's going to happen. If you guys do want the interviews and stuff like that, where they did ask Tyson Fury and obviously Deontay Wilder, then feel free to ask me down in the comment section. I'll send you the links, or I'll put it down in the description myself. However, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to make a video on it, and the whole point is, what I'm going to do now is make my kind of prediction on it. I believe that KSI is going to win. I believe he just got the determination. It was like when he made the movie, I Can't Lose. That was the thing. He didn't even try, he said for the last fight, he didn't even train that much. And again, that is massive, to be fair, when you think about it. He didn't even train that much, and when you think about it, he did that much, and he nearly actually did win the fight. Then I believe if he's going to be training this time, get kind of a bit more like athletic, and obviously a bit more muscle in him, it's going to make it a lot better, and to be fair, I can believe he's going to win. The reason why I don't think Logan Paul's going to win is I think the fame just gets a bit to his head, he gets a bit too cocky. I know JJ gets cocky, but he's kind of that confidence cocky. Whereas Logan Paul is just a bit immature, the cockiness. He kind of takes it like a celebrity thing, as whereas JJ is taking it seriously. He wants to turn professional at the end of it as well, which he is technically professional now, but he wants to have proper fights. But really guys, that is it. I just want to put my input at the end. I hope you did enjoy this type of video. Leave a like down if you did, subscribe if you're new, comment any like tips or kind of criticism that you want to say, just to like help me out for any like future videos like this. And to be fair, the kind of new content is going to be coming soon. I will be doing the face reveal very, very soon, so if you do want to see that, subscribe to stay around, turn on notifications so you know when I do upload it. But apart from that guys, until next time, see ya.